In recent years, many Americans have experienced increasing levels of anxiety, depression, loneliness, burnout, and emotional exhaustion. Economic pressure, social division, family instability, online toxicity, cyberbullying, and constant exposure to disturbing news have created a stressful environment for both adults and young people. Teenagers especially face enormous pressure related to academic performance, social acceptance, appearance, financial uncertainty, and digital life. Many suffer silently because they fear judgment or feel nobody will understand them. One of the most dangerous aspects of mental health struggles is silence. People often hide emotional pain behind smiles, social media posts, work performance, or anger. Some individuals become withdrawn and isolated, while others display warning signs such as extreme mood swings, violent thoughts, obsession with weapons, hopelessness, emotional numbness, or aggressive behavior. Unfortunately, these signs are sometimes ignored, misunderstood, or dismissed until a tragedy occurs. School shootings have become a particularly heartbreaking symbol of America's violence crisis. Students who should feel safe while learning instead practice emergency drills and live with fear that violence could enter their classrooms. Teachers, parents, and students carry emotional stress that affects learning, concentration, and mental well-being. After every tragedy, communities ask the same painful question: could this have been prevented? Prevention begins long before violence happens. It begins with emotional support, healthy relationships, and access to mental health care. Many people struggling emotionally do not receive treatment because therapy is too expensive, unavailable, or stigmatized. Others are afraid of being labeled weak, dangerous, or unstable. In many communities, mental health conversations are still avoided, especially among men who are often taught to suppress emotions rather than express them. Social isolation is another growing concern. Human beings need connection, understanding, and support. When people feel rejected, ignored, bullied, or disconnected from society, emotional pain can deepen. Online spaces sometimes worsen this problem by spreading hate, extremism, misinformation, and hostility. Young people may spend hours online while feeling emotionally disconnected in real life. Without positive guidance and emotional support, frustration and anger can grow in unhealthy ways. Trauma also plays a major role in emotional well-being. Many individuals involved in violent behavior have experienced abuse, neglect, violence, bullying, or severe emotional pain earlier in life. Trauma affects how people think, react, trust others, and manage emotions. Without counseling or support, unresolved trauma may lead to destructive coping mechanisms such as substance abuse, aggression, self-harm, or violent behavior. Mental health awareness is not only about identifying problems, it is also about building solutions. America needs stronger emotional support systems in schools, workplaces, and communities. Schools should provide counselors, anti-bullying programs, emotional education, and safe environments where students can ask for help without shame. Workplaces should encourage mental wellness, reduce burnout, and support employees experiencing stress or emotional hardship. Families and communities should learn to listen more carefully and recognize warning signs before people reach a crisis point. Media and social platforms also have responsibility. Constant exposure to violence, fear, and division can negatively affect mental well-being. Responsible storytelling should focus on prevention, healing, and community support, rather than glorifying violent individuals. Communities heal when compassion becomes stronger than fear. Another important step is reducing stigma around therapy and emotional support. Seeking help should never be viewed as weakness. In reality, asking for help is a sign of courage and self-awareness. Therapy, counseling, support groups, mentorship, and open conversations can save lives. A simple conversation, supportive friendship, or emotional intervention may prevent someone from reaching a dangerous breaking point. The path toward reducing violence requires collective effort. Parents, teachers, community leaders, healthcare professionals, policymakers, and ordinary citizens all have roles to play. Building a safer society is not only about security measures, it is also about creating emotionally healthy communities where people feel valued, heard, and supported. America's violence crisis cannot be solved overnight. There is no single explanation and no single solution. However, ignoring mental health will only allow emotional suffering to grow deeper. Prevention begins with awareness, empathy, education, and early intervention. Every life lost to violence represents a future that disappeared too soon and families forever changed by grief. The conversation about violence must move beyond fear and blame. It must include compassion, mental health support, community connection, and hope. A stronger America is not built only through laws and enforcement, but also through emotional healing and human understanding. Because protecting lives begins with protecting minds. Lumin Rose, wear your mind, inspire the world.